Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com.
Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, bringing you episode 103 on this lovely, lovely Tuesday evening here. We are in Texas. As always, things have not changed, as you can tell. It's the same awesome backdrop with Mr. Kurt Caselli's number one Hare and Hound jersey over there. And it's fun, as one of our other guests this evening has a fun KTM jersey as well. So we'll get to talk a little bit about that. I think it's going to be a good time for everybody. So what is Seat Time? What have you turned into? Seat Time is the online show for the off-road enthusiast. We like to get in here. We like to beer drink, bench race through all the off-road racing that goes on. We have guests that come on. We Skype them in. We like to either riders or people that are in the industry that just like to talk about all the racing that's going on, or they have news that they want to share. Anything that's going to help people in the industry or that's just involved in the sport. Have a good time. That's what we like to do. We like to bring everybody together here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Brian Pierce. Our producer is Steven Rice. We're in Texas, and it's been a dreary couple days. It's unfortunate, but we get to look forward to some nice weather this weekend. I believe Steven is heading to Austin for a wedding, and I'll be going to Oklahoma City to the National Enduro up there, which I'm sure I'll talk to Bolton a little bit about. So Seat Time, you can find us at our website. It's seattime.co. You can find all the archives there. Of course, we're on all the other social media out there like Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, YouTube. You can search for us on any of those platforms, and you're going to find us. It's going to be fantastic. And then, of course, one of the things that I wanted to mention, too, is thank you very much to all of our sponsors. So Fly Racing, you can find out more about them, flyracing.com. Of course, Powersport Graphics is ridepg.com, and we have a fantastic discount code with them, which is just Seat Time. Save yourself 10%. And then, of course, our new sponsor, which we brought on last week, is Fast Company. So the guys that make the fantastic flex bars and, like things like the little spoke torque wrench that make keeping your spokes not falling out and much easier to do. So thank you for their support. And if you guys paid attention at all to Facebook or Twitter, this past week on Friday, we actually released our new t-shirt, which one of our guests actually just ordered today, which we really appreciate. It is a pre-order, but what you could do is go to seattime.bigcartel.com, and you can see that it's our new quote t-shirt from our fan Martin. It was too good to pass up. We're hoping to get a couple pre-orders from that so we can pay for the order and then get those out to everybody come early November. So yeah, check all that out. So our guests for this evening, chat room, tlk.io/seattime is where you can join us in the chat room if you want to either find a way to talk to our guest or maybe throw questions my way, and that way I can shoot those out to the guests. So this evening we're going to have Mr. Jared Bolton on first. We're going to talk to Cody Webb a little bit between his road ride and going to class, and then Scotty Breauxman is going to come on a little bit just to talk to us about some of the Baja Rally, how everything went, the results and things like that. Just kind of give us a nice little recap. So that's the schedule, if you will, for this evening. And in true Seat Time fashion, I have to ask, Mr. Jared Bolton, how is your evening going, kind sir?
It's awesome. I'm hanging out at my house alone, doing a whole lot of nothing. It's pretty great.
So you specifically mentioned that you're at your house alone. Is that not typical for you?
That is actually sort of not typical because I do have a roommate that lives here, but he's off at some soccer game for actually Appalachian State University is only like 30 minutes up the highway.
So he's gallivanting with the ladies?
Yeah, and actually they're playing the college that he went to, and one of his buddies plays on the team, so he went to go watch them.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a poor excuse for, not paying attention and being your guest on the couch.
Not being here and not fetching me beers like he did last time.
And apparently we just heard out that our friend Darkness Wrench is in the chat room, so make sure, Bolton, when you're not trying to make fun of me, that you say hi to him as well. So, and Mr. Wrench, if you have anything for us, make sure you throw it up there. We're going to get it for you. So Bolton, again, another reason why, for those of you who do not know Jared Bolton, one, you need to go follow him on Twitter, at Jared Bolton. It's completely worth it. And the second thing is he is very, very in with Racer Productions. He's at all the GNCC events. He's actually one of their trail crew guys, and he does a lot of sweeping. He keeps his what is it, ear to the grindstone, or however you want to pull it. You know all the dirty details.
Yeah, pretty much. Like stuff that I can't talk about. It's pretty cool.
Like the new Huskies. You know everything that we don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
They're fantastic motorcycles. I've ridden them twice. So this the GNCC this past weekend, for those of you who don't know, Powerline Park was St. Clairsville. Did I get that right? Yeah, St. Clairsville, Ohio. I always think I pronounce it wrong. I think one thing that I like to take away for the pictures that I always see is the mud fleas. They seem to this always seems to have some really good mud holes. So the mud fleas always seem to come out in droves for this event with multiple adult beverages, if you will. And then, of course, it seems like we always had some pretty legitimate racing that goes on. Just to say that we did have some pretty legitimate racing that happened this past weekend. So what did you take away this past weekend? That the most just awesome thing that you saw as you're just out there doing your job? Maybe it's not even racing related.
It's kind of hard, especially there, to pick one awesome thing over the other, because there's a lot of awesome things that happens there, especially with some of the more enthusiastic spectators that are there,
if you will.
But one thing that I saw that was pretty awesome, actually, it made it more awesome earlier today when I went back and watched the live webcast, was they were showing Gus's mud hole, which I actually filmed for the NBC show. And actually, this is like the 4th year I filmed that mud hole. But anyway,
they know you can get the juiciness, right?
Watching it, Caleb Russell was actually scoping out the mud hole, and he was like knee deep in it with a stick. And they were talking on the live webcast. I guess they had missed where it was kind of zoomed in on him, and they just saw somebody standing there, and they're like, "And there's one of the mud fleas standing knee deep in the water." And they didn't realize that it was actually Caleb.
Nice. But that was going on, I guess, I would imagine, like in the morning race on Sunday.
That was actually Saturday for the quad
for the
race.
ATV race. Okay.
Yeah.
Quad. When did they do the UTV stuff? Because they had that at this event as well, didn't they?
Yeah. We always run the UTVs after the quad, so Saturday afternoon, like.
Whoa! So Saturday gets really packed when you guys have UTVs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, and it starts to run like short of daylight too.
Yeah.
So it gets pretty interesting sometimes. You
I
have
bet.
to make some kind of tough calls on, have to cut somebody a little bit short every now and then. That's all part of it.
Yep, for sure. I think one of the most awesome things I saw from this past weekend, of course, being outside the inner circle, trying to look in just as you can from the internet, was a post that Jimmy Jarrett shared of somebody's either Instagram video or a Vine or something like that. And I believe it was Thad Duvall coming through I don't know if it was Gus's mud hole or one of the mud holes, but he completely clocked the shit out of one of the mud fleas because this dude was like totally leaning over a line, like trying to point at the line for Thad, and Thad just comes through there just completely wide open and just clocks him with his handlebar. I mean, obviously, I don't think, I would definitely guess not maliciously. He's just going so fast and just trying to stay upright. And this dude did a full like 360 and like slammed into the dirt. That was probably one of the most awesome things I saw from the weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty classic, and yeah, that's that one doesn't have a fancy name. That's just the Powerline mud hole, and it gets the name because it's a mud hole under some power lines.
It's very appropriate.
So, yeah, it's pretty fitting there. We got really creative with that name. But yeah, that kind of happens every now and then there.
Yeah, I can imagine. There was a great picture too that the GNCC guys had shared up with some of the ATV pictures, I believe, from Saturday. This total mud flea. It was on Facebook, just like super happy, like completely covered in mud, and about the only thing that wasn't mud was the mouth that was open and the whites just around his eyes. It was like I was like, I don't know if I can. I mean, like, sure, you can have as much enthusiasm inside your body as you want. There's like a certain limit to where that just gets uncomfortable, I would think.
Yeah, that's actually what I looked like last race.
Nice. And now you look much more clean cut. You've got a little bit of facial hair. You've got your hair less fluffed. I mean, do you have a date? Is that what the problem is?
No. I just had to get rid of like this deal that was going on. I was kind of over that. And this here, I've actually got a pretty solid plan for Halloween. All this under here is going to go away, and I'm going to dye this black and be Burt Reynolds. So
nice. Well, keep
pretty
working
simple.
on it.
Yeah,
You're
I've still
from-
got a ways to go.
You're from the mountains. You're from the mountains of the East Coast. I'm pretty sure your amount of facial hair is what I could grow in about 3 days. So,
Pretty much, yeah. It doesn't really. It kind of grows in all white, trashy like Joe Dirt.
if you will,
Yeah.
shut up, Dirt. You shut
Yeah.
up. You know it's Dirty. Don't pronounce
Dirty.
it. Well, whatever. I'm not good at making jokes, so I won't try. So. Again, XC1 results for the GNCC this past weekend. Mullins came away with the win. Caleb Russell with a very, very hard-fought second over Paul Whibley, who was in third. Now, you were out there filming, as you said. Now, tell us about how some of the racing went down and how tight the racing was between. It looked like it was between the top 5 to 6 guys were all, fighting for their positions.
Charlie kind of went into what we're familiar with, what everybody knows as Checkout Charlie, and he was pretty much, honestly, he was pretty much gone. But Caleb had to work for it a little bit, and it actually took him a little while to get around Whibley, but he finally did and pulled away from it a little bit. Those three were kind of stretched out at the finish, but what was really awesome to me was 4th, 5th, and 6th, which was Josh Strang, Jordan Ashburn, Chris Bach, and actually Rory Mead was in the mix with them for a while as well. Those guys were all super close together for basically the entire race. And they all kind of swapped around with different pit strategies and just generally going for it. They swapped positions around several times throughout the day.
Yeah. It's funny to call it Checkout Charlie. He's been doing that a lot lately. He's definitely been winning the last couple races. It seemed like Russell was on a really big streak there. Now Mullins is starting to kind of chip away at that lead, and then of course he goes to Big Sky, totally dominates out there, checks out, gets the first place there, the national number 1 plate. National Enduro, this past one is when he actually clinched the title, totally dominated out there. It's cool to see him on top. So with that momentum going in, just the 5 points that are separating Mullins and Russell going into Ironman in Indiana, I mean, do you think he's going to carry that Checkout Charlie momentum in? Or is Russell going to be able to be the wild card and just bring that pure speed in?
He could. Here at the Ironman in the past, Charlie's been actually really, really good. But the Ironman in 2010 was actually Caleb Russell's first XC1 race. And he actually pulled the whole shot on a 250F. And I think he actually led for a while, but then tipped over in one of the creek crossings and drowned out the bike.
Oh, man.
But so the thing about those two is it's hard to pick a clear favorite between the two because they're both so good no matter what.
Right. No, I totally agree. And I was actually talking with Hoop a little bit yesterday, probably about an hour before they went to the hospital. It seems like I was like, so was your money on, Mullins or was on Russell? And he was just like, with the consistency and the good luck that Mullins has had at Ironman, exactly what you were saying, that's where he would put his money. He's like, but the racing has been so good. He's like, it really could be. It really is anyone's game. And what I found interesting as I was looking at the points is so it literally is a down-to-the-wire sort of situation here. So Charlie Mullins is 5 points behind Russell. And it's 30 points and 25 points for first and second place. So if Charlie Mullins gets first, he gets the 30 points, and he completely ties then with what Russell's going to have. And so then they both have 6th first, but Russell comes away with 6 seconds, and Mullins will only have 5 seconds. 5 second-place finishes.
Right.
So if Russell finishes second and Mullins wins, Russell still gets it?
No. Actually, it doesn't. Because
yeah, that's what I knew you would.
The championship is based off of the overall.
Okay, so it's based off of all their placements.
It's based off the overall points. They tie in the class points, but actually in the overall, if Charlie wins, he'll have 2 points over Caleb. If Caleb gets second at the Ironman.
Oh, because somewhere in there, an XC2 rider got a couple overall points. Is that like that are different? Is that kind of, or somebody in there had to, obviously XC1 would just be the same way, but if it's overall, that means an XC2 rider got in there probably at that round 5 race where one of them was 7th and one of them was 11th, in the XC1 class. I bet you there was a couple XC2 guys in front of one of them.
Yeah, actually, in Kentucky,
yeah.
When they both broke down, Caleb didn't score any overall points. He was actually outside of the top 20.
Okay.
So, if he could have done like one more lap, Caleb would actually have more of a lead right now, and it would actually be a lot. It wouldn't be near as dramatic right now.
So if we look, so they are 2 points apart. See, I was where I was confused. Everybody was saying they were 2 points apart, and then I go and look at all the official results. It was the XC1 class, and it's showing them being 5 points apart. But in this situation for this championship, it goes off of overall.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's weird, actually.
Yeah,
you know why that is?
Well, in years past, it's been that the GNCC champion has been determined by the XC1 class. But, well, let's just say that there was a super, super good XC2 rider who won some overalls. What if he had the most overall points at the end of the season?
Right. But isn't he...
He would deserve that championship. So,
but at the same time, isn't that his fault for not... If he knew he was going to be that fast, isn't it his fault for not signing up in the XC1 class?
Oh, pretty much, but, you never know.
They want to just give that just in case, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I by no means want to be on the board that has to sit there and decide stuff like that, because I can only imagine the arguing that goes on. Or sometimes the hand slapping. Just like, shut up, we're doing it this way.
Pretty much. We do a lot of that, like the day after the morning after the banquet at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
So when everybody's hungover and only got like 2 hours of sleep.
When everybody feels awesome.
And super fresh.
First thing in the morning. But yeah, we have these riders meetings that changes stuff like that for the next year.
Okay, so with Mullins and Russell, then the way that overall with the 2 points, literally, if Mullins wins, he gets it. If Russell wins, he gets it.
Exactly.
Literally, whoever comes across the checkers first, champion.
Yeah.
Bam.
Realistically, it's whoever finishes in front of who.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. I mean, last year it could have kind of been like that, but like Russell would have had to done really good, and Wibbs would have had to done really bad. So it wasn't as down to the wire as it is with this. And then now we'll talk a little bit about the XC2 guys. It sounds like they've got a lot of, not as close, but it's still a really good battle going on, because Grant Baylor had a really bad race. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure you could kind of fill us in on that. And then we had Shane Hufford coming in second, and Jason Thomas coming in third. And Andrew DeLong was the one who won. So Andrew DeLong should have kind of been in this mix the whole time for the XC2 title chase, but with his hand injury and being out for 2 races, that's why he's kind of out of the title chase. But he's obviously making up a lot of points with these three in a row first place finishes that he's had. So where it gets interesting, though, is like Baylor had a bad race this past weekend in Ohio. Thomas had a pretty good race, getting third on the podium, so that brought Thomas a lot closer to Baylor. But it seems like I think they're still now the XC2. Are they based as well off of overall, or are they just class?
No, the XC2 is just a class championship.
That's so weird.
Yeah, so again, it's kind of I haven't broken down the points on them yet, but it is going to come down to the wire. It basically whoever beats who in that as well.
Right. I was going to say at this point, it feels like math. That's what, and of course I'm not very good at math, so I try not to do it. So if we go by the class points, which it sounds like what's going to happen, they're 21 points apart. So it would take Thomas is still in it, but it would take another poor race or maybe a breakdown or malfunction, something for Baylor to either not finish or to be way out of the top 10 for Thomas to really get a back-to-back XC2 title, right?
Right, but still, the thing I always say, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, no, totally agree.
Especially this, like Sunday, what happened with Grant was he actually ran out of gas.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, really, actually, luckily, though, he was pretty close to the pits, so it still hurt him, but he had to, the rule is you can only get enough gas to get to your pit. If you run it as a pro rider, you can only get enough gas to get to your pit.
Right. So somebody can splash him gas like out on the trail, but it literally just needs to be enough for him to get to that pit, and then he has to pit again.
Right,
or
exactly.
has to officially
Even,
pit.
that's actually part of what happened with Whibley at the Ironman last year. Was he ran out of gas? Jimmy Jarrett gave him gas out of his bike because he had already broken down.
Right.
And the pits were like less than a mile from the finish. And instead of stopping, Whibley kept going and finished, which resulted in a penalty. I don't remember exactly what was handed down, but
right.
he ended up, I think he lost a position or two because of that.
Yeah, because officially he should have he should have had to have pitted. Like
Right. Even though he had enough gas to get to the finish, he still should have stopped. And I mean, at least got a splash of gas.
Made the attempt to make it look like he was getting a full pit, right?
Oh yeah, even pretending would have been okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even if it was just the tip, it would have been legitimate. Yeah, that's enough to quantify as something going in.
Right.
So just remember that, kids out there, if you're just going to put the tip in, you still should be careful. You might get penalized.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful with
that. With a child for the rest of your life.
Yep.
You never know what's going to happen. So I hear. So one of the things I wanted to ask you though is Andrew DeLong obviously doing great. He's been doing this whole year in enduros and at the GNCCs. Was a really, really great competitor out at the ISDE this year. I would imagine that even though he's not going to get this championship this year, that he will be in the XC1 class next year. How do you see him competing there?
Realistically, I think he'll do very well, actually. Just based off of his performances in the National Enduros on the 310, I think he's going to, adjust to that pretty well, and you could possibly see him being a threat as well.
Yeah. Do you think that... I know with Far Racing, Jeff Andrews has been with Husqvarna for such a long time. He's been riding Husqvarna, but now that they're, I guess kind of changing it up, we got the new bikes for 2014 coming out. Do you know if that team is still going to be a Husqvarna team, and if Andrew DeLong's going to be on those Huskies next year?
As far as I know, they're still doing the same thing.
Okay, so that's a very short, quick yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I haven't heard anything for sure, but the little bit of rumblings I've heard doesn't sound like there's going to be a whole lot different.
It'll be interesting to see how their team colors change, because they're always kind of that black, white, and red to kind of fit with the Husky colors, the older Husky colors, if you will. So I wonder if they're going to kind of have a little bit of a branding change with this not really bike change, but bike change.
Blue, white, yellow.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be
Blello.
Blello, the Blello Far Husky team. I think it's fantastic. So I wanted you to show us some of the gear that you got this past weekend before we kind of start to go on and talking about some of our other friends out there in the world.
Oh, well first I'll do it backwards, actually. See, I've got some pants there.
Ooh, hello.
Oh, look at that.
Those look like they would fit you.
Yeah, right. Not even close. But and here's why they would not even be close to fitting me. Because there's a jersey. This is new decoration for my house because I don't really have a whole lot in here decoration-wise. And,
boom! The faux 1-1.
That's right.
That's pretty awesome that she brought that down, or that she gave that to you. So that's what she wore at Powerline Park?
Powerline Park, and actually she wrapped up the women's championship at Powerline Park. So
yeah, that's super cool.
That is championship-winning gear right there.
Bam! You gotta love it when hot chicks are awesome.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and she's cool to talk to. She's not just fun to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
she's pretty high on my list of cool people.
One day I hope to be up there. If not, maybe knocking on the door of a good time. If not, cool people.
Yeah, you're about halfway.
Nice. That's fine. Hey, I don't ever want to be at the top or at the bottom because that means I'm too close to falling off of either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, somebody, we did get a question from somebody in the chat room thinking about, do you think the entry record is going to get broken at the Ironman this year, since it's going to kind of be such a big coming down to the wire race?
Well, as far as rider count, I don't think it's going to beat Unadilla, but there's always a lot. I'd say, if I had to get, I don't have the numbers offhand, but if I had to guess, I'd say Ironman would probably be one of the top three, just as far as rider count, and I'd say it's definitely number one for spectator count.
Yeah, It's gonna be awesome. I'm hoping to actually. I just was talking to some friends. I was like, "Who's going to GNCC?" And I think at this point I might have found a ride.
Good.
I have the possibility of a ride. Pretty much, if I have to fly, I can't do it. So I'm really hoping for this ride to come through. We'll see.
That'd be good. You can come out and ride the monster truck.
The what?
They have monster truck rides at the Ironman.
No shit.
Dead serious. It's awesome.
Man, my Saturday just became way more open.
And the guy that drives it has a mullet.
Shit. I'm going to have a best friend out there. I know it. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to get any work done on Sunday. I'm just going to be drinking with that guy.
Dude, yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'd be a good time. All right. So I did have a question, too, that came in from our email. So somebody sent us in a question. You can go to Ask Us a Question on the Seat Time page and send in questions for our guests. Maybe for us, if you want to give us topics you'd like us to talk about. Tell me that I should trim my mustache. Or maybe tell us another bipolar email like Mr. Martin. All the fun things you can do. Do you think there should be more stringent qualifying for the XC2 class? It seems that the class has gotten rather big, and maybe not all the riders should be out there.
Um,
And I almost think that should be a little bit more broad and say like the pro classes, the XC2 and XC1 maybe, because both of them are classes that you can get into if you want to get into.
Right. And actually, XC2, you do have the rule where if you win the championship, you can defend the next year, but regardless of what happens the second year, you have to move to XC1. So that helps XC1 a little bit. XC2, I personally, I sort of feel like it should be top 5 from the A classes from the year before. And maybe some of the like local pro guys.
Right. That's a tough thought. That's a tough call though. Like, who's local pro? You know what I mean? Like, because I know we have guys that race pro locally here, and they go up and they would do like the 3-hour race and maybe do like, I guess one of the A classes, and they're fighting for a top 10. You know what I mean? And so it's like, so it's kind of hard to say, hey, you're a top 5 pro in the local shit. We're coming in. You're going to be racing the XC2 class. But I understand what you're saying. I get your kind of take on it. But the XC2 class, I mean, if a guy's doing good, he could just decide to enter it, couldn't he? You there, Bolton?
Yeah, you like zonked out there for a second.
Okay, it just looked really cool because we totally cut to you, and then you just sat there with this quizzical look. Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So with the XC2 class, somebody could just sign up if they wanted to, thinking they were doing fast enough, right?
Just about, yeah.
Okay. No, that's what it is. That's what it is. So cool. All right. Again, where can people out there in the world find you? Because the only reason I'm cutting you a little short, even though I know we could just talk about awesome stuff like this all the time, is because of the fact that we're trying to get Cody Webb on, and he is going to be in between his road ride and his class. So it's like, unfortunately, trying to fit him into a schedule.
You got to time that perfect. But you can find me at fine places like Twitter, at Jared Bolton, Instagram, at Jared Bolton, Facebook, just Jared Bolton, and jaredbolton.com.
Yeah. I really like how you kept it concise. You didn't change it up. You didn't try to get creative. You didn't make it confusing.
Yeah, because, like, people in general are stupid, so I try to make it easy.
That's a good rule. I think as well, you have to think about yourself, too. You go, oh, God, what was my username account again?
Exactly, because I'm stupid, too. I was including myself with that.
Yeah, so. For sure. We all have our moments, and some of us, like you and myself, have more of those moments than other people. So
exactly,
we like to plan ahead for those moments. So, well, cool. I want to keep you on the line before we cut out of here. Stephen, if you want to preface Mr. Webb and make sure we're all lined up, I wanted to talk about fly racing and Ride PG. Do you have your spiel ready for Ironman with the breast cancer awareness and Ride PG and what they're doing?
I do. Wait a minute. It's all up here. Every year, since 2010 was the first year we did this, at the Ironman GNCC, with it being October, we make it the breast cancer awareness race. And part of the proceeds from the race and everything goes to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the local chapter in Indiana. And part of this is everybody is encouraged to run pink number plate backgrounds. So, PG we offer where you can get the front number plate for $22.95 with $5 of that going to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Or you can get a full set of the pink number plates for $69.95 with $10 of that going to Susan G. Komen.
Bam. And of course they can do that at ridepg.com, right? Is that
Yep.
Is it easier to do on the website, or is it better to call, or in reality it doesn't matter?
Right now when you go to ridepg.com, it's the first thing that pops up. So you can click there or you can call us. Either way. Dig
it. And I don't think if anybody are out there, because of the fact that this is for breast cancer awareness and there's donations going out there to the Susan G. Komen, center organization, that you should try to use this discount code. I honestly do not know if it will work on this situation, but of course we always have our Seat Time discount code. So if you're ever ordering anything through RidePG, make sure you use the discount code Seat Time. It's SEATTIME. Pretty simple. Can't screw it up too much. It's what you like getting every weekend and during the week when you can. A little bit of seat time. And that's awesome. We really appreciate them for the support. They've got a ton of other offers out there, but we know this is very, very prevalent. A lot of racers are going to be wanting to have their pink number plates, and this is a great, very affordable way to get them with graphics that look bitchin' for your bike, right? Bolt on.
Yeah, they are very bitchin' graphics. So,
and would you possibly throw in a bolt on sticker?
I could. I just got to get more of them printed because the 100 that I printed are all gone.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them, and they're fantastic. I have one of them on my laptop, and the other I sleep with. I think I'm cutting out again because Bolt on looked lost.
Yeah, we're good. We're good now. You're working again.
Oh, hello. I love technology.
Yeah.
I was just saying I have 2 of your stickers. I have the one that's on my computer and the one that I sleep with.
Oh, yeah. You need that. That's important.
It's on my pillowcase. I was like, don't watch this one, Tam. They're good graphics, but not that good. It will wash off.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. We really appreciate you being on the show, as always. And I'll keep you up to date on if that ride comes through and if I'm going to make it up there, because fingers crossed we'd show up like late Friday night or early Saturday morning. So, yeah,
it'd be perfect.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for your knowledge. Everybody hit up Jared Bolton and let him know what you think about being on the show. We really appreciate you. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, cool, man. Well, so of course, RidePG, fantastic sponsor of Seat Time. We really appreciate their support. So please go check them out and make sure you look out for all of the deals they have going and for the graphics for Ironman. Of course, as we bring up Cody Webb, I also wanted to talk a little bit about Fly Racing. So Fly Racing is one of our other supporters. They're our title sponsor, if you will. And they have been with us since the very beginning. They found us, and they have just been a huge supporter. They've helped us with all the contacts that we have. Just a lot of great people out there. I just want to say that I think their hydration packs that they have are the best ones out there. I've been using the Usway one. It's not Fly branded, but the Usway packs for about the past 8 months. It is the best hydration pack out there. And now Fly Racing has that pack branded with Liat, which is the same Usway hydration pack that you can get from their website. So go check it out at flyracing.com. It's Moto Gear hydration packs, and they've got a couple different ones you can choose from. And it's the 8.5. It's the 85 ounce one. I think is the best one for all you off-road riders. So go check that out. Remember, flyracing.com, and we thank them for their support. All right. So Bolt on. We just got done with our little red-headed stepchild, Mr. Jared Bolton, and now we're going to bring on Mr. Pearly Whites himself, Cody Webb. So, dude, how's your evening going, man?
It's not a bad evening at all. Just finished a little road ride, and I was supposed to go to school, but class got canceled, so it's a great night.
Sweet. Well, so you're over there in California. You're getting ready to go to class tonight. You got done with a road ride, I think, a little bit earlier. So, are you feeling fit? Are you feeling ready to take on some knowledge for your brain?
Well, my class got canceled tonight, so I just get to hang out the rest of the night now.
Nice. So that was actually just a complete excuse. You were like, in case, your third appearance, fourth appearance on Seat Time goes horribly wrong, you've got a great excuse to get out early.
Yeah, usually that's how I get out of talking with you guys. It's always like, hey, can you talk tonight? I'm like, no, I got school, I'm busy. It's my excuse for everything.
I understand. You've given me that a lot. But I appreciate you being able to talk. I think it's a very, very special occasion because, one, you've gotten your first Endurocross win. I mean, bam, holy shit. We've been talking about that on the show forever, and you've been wanting it. You've been working super hard for it. So just how does it feel to have that now in the books?
Man, it was incredible. It was just like a huge weight off my shoulders, and I've been so close for so long. And it was kind of funny after the race. Everyone kept coming up to me, and they're saying, "Wait, that was your first win?" Like they seemed that I had won before because I had come close a bunch, and I was ecstatic, and my dad was there. It was a huge moment for both of us, and it was great for the beta team. It was kind of like David beating Goliath, a small Italian off-road team goes and beats the who's who of all off-road, and I was the guy behind it, and it was definitely an awesome night.
Yeah, and being able to watch the webcast, I kind of had to catch bits of it just as things were going on with the family and all that stuff. It was unfortunate I couldn't just grab a six-pack and sit down and watch all the kick-assery that was going on. But what I think one of the things is a lot of people are like, okay, is there been anything different between Ontario and now that you've done differently, or do you think that your program, that you know your program, you know what works, and so you make sure that you're just working on everything you need to work on, and that consistency has finally paid off?
Like I've been definitely changed things up a little bit since I broke my foot. It all started with that, and I couldn't even walk for a while, so I would just hop on a road bike. And luckily, I had bought a road bike like about a month before I broke my foot earlier this year. And before I was walking, I was doing 30-mile rides and just to try and stay in shape. And I went into X Games. I'd only ridden only 2 times on the bike, and I finished on the podium. So obviously, my conditioning was still good. And
yeah,
the TKO, and then now I started school, and it's like I got to pick and choose and plan everything. Like I'm planning my week all ahead, and I'm treating it almost like a job right now, and figuring out what days I can ride, what days I can't. And it's like Mondays I'm doing a road bike ride, Tuesdays I'm doing a road bike ride, Wednesdays I do a road bike ride in the morning, and then I ride that evening. Thursdays I hit the moto track. So I'm planning everything out. And after Ontario, now I felt like I was really close, but the track was really jumpy, and I wasn't really happy with the layout of the course. I'm like, well, you know what? If everyone's getting faster, everyone's riding really great, like I'm just going to stick to riding moto because I know that's my weakest link, and if I work on that, things will start coming my way. And I only rode my Endurocross track twice, like that over 2.5 week break or whatever in between Ontario and Denver, and I was just riding moto a couple days a week and training on my road bike. And I'm still going to physical therapy a little bit for my foot because I had some issues come up, and it doesn't hinder me when I'm riding, but I'm going to have to get it fixed after the season. And, everything together, I'm just really being great time management and staying in shape, and it freaking paid off for me finally.
Yeah, dude, totally, for sure. It's interesting that you mentioned you're doing so much road riding, and we've seen that a lot recently, I think, with all the Supercross, motocross guys. It makes sense. It's a great training tool. I want to know, kind of being a cyclist myself, when you go out for your road rides, do you have a specific regimen, or do you just go out and spin and keep your heart rate in a certain zone while you're out there? Did that come through okay?
I think I had a small connection issue right there for a second.
Well, I think with the road riding that you do you find that you go out and you stick to a certain regimen, like you just go out and ride X amount of miles and keep your heart rate in a certain zone, or do you find that you actually have like sprint days or endurance days and things like that?
I think I don't go out ever with a set schedule in mind because I feel like that takes the fun out of things.
Okay.
Like also with riding a motorcycle, like, you kind of got to change it up all the time. You just can't do the same set thing every time or it turns into getting old and boring. So depending on how much time I have, sometimes I'll just go out and I'll just do sprints. And, what I really focus on most is like strength on the road bike and a little bit of sprinting. So, I try and just beat the hell out of myself going uphill, and that seems to work out pretty well for me. So I'm going to keep doing that.
If you throw up when you get to the top of the climb, you probably did a good job.
Oh, man. Connection issues.
Oh, it's okay. It was a bad joke anyway on my part. We did have a question from Zach in the chat room, and he wanted to know, with all the endurocross events getting your heart rate up so fast and all the sprinting that goes on, do you think that this seems very helpful for future ISDE riders?
My freaking connection's sucking right now. Hold on.
That's okay.
Online.
I see you, if that makes you feel any better.
All right, I hear you again now.
Yes! Whatever you pushed makes
My
it
thing
better.
says I'm offline, but somehow I'm still talking to you, so I don't know what's going on.
I hate technology sometimes. It's the worst time.
Oh, now I'm back, apparently. So let's proceed with the question before I lose you.
All right, quickly. With all from Zach in the chat room, with all the endurocross events getting your heart rate up so fast and all the sprinting, do you see it helpful for future ISDE riders like we see like Taylor Robert and Mike Brown, since they've been doing so well at the ISDE?
Do I think that's like the endurocross is helping them out for ISDE?
Yeah, like with this, I think because because of the fact that it gets your heart rate up so fast and it's such a good sprint technique.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that definitely has to help them in ISDE. I mean, they're great riders to begin with, and the full format of ISDE has kind of changed. I mean, I've never been, but from understanding what I've heard, like it's kind of almost more moto oriented, not so much single track extreme from before. So when we're riding endurocross, it's like you said, right off the bat you're going 100% as fast as you can, and obviously that's going to play in the part when those guys are at the ISDE. You got like a long cruiser, and with those things, it's actually probably better because you're warmed up by the time you get to a check. And in endurocross, you're almost starting off.
Yeah, apparently it does seem like we're having some connections issues. So if we lose him here, we're going to go ahead and get reconnected, see if it pops up here in a second. But it's interesting because of the fact we have done a lot of talking with guys with their ISDE training and how things have been going on and all the different things that they try to do. So we know that Mike Brown and Taylor Robert, those guys are so fit. And I think when it comes down to sprinting, little things like this, sure, I think it's going to do them better. But to Cody's point on the fact that the ISD has changed, I think he's right. The special tests that they have changed a lot. They've become a lot shorter. They've become a lot faster. They've become a lot more wide open. I don't know if that's... I did hear somebody mention because they need to be able to get ambulances to all parts of the course. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but there's all kinds of reasons, so we'll see if there's anything that goes on. So I want to know the course in Denver. This is something I noticed is that the course in Ontario, California, it seemed like you guys were just jumping everything. You guys are going super fast. It was like a big moto track to you guys jumping all the obstacles. But this, I wanted to know, so did it seem that they changed much for this course? Like you guys couldn't jump the water feature. The matrix seemed a ton longer. Do you think that all that was because of the different, just trying to change it up from how open and fast the course was in Ontario?
Yeah, it definitely was. I spoke with the promoter, Eric Pernard, after the event, and he's like, you know what? I'll admit we messed up a little bit in Ontario. Like we've done, I think it was something around 70-something or 80-something endurocross events now, and that was the first event ever where guys are jumping the whole water hole, jumping the whole matrix, and he's like, you know what, we made a mistake. You guys caught us off guard, and this event, the matrix, they made it freaking 5 times as long. Well, it seemed like it. It wasn't that much longer. And then the water hole, they put a lip on it that would shoot you to the moon if you wanted to hit that thing hard. So, they definitely changed things up because they didn't like what they saw in Ontario with us basically cheating out on all their obstacles. Well, I wasn't jumping the water hole, but some of the other guys were because they're freaking nutty, and I wasn't on that level.
I think that's a really good point. When you see your competition doing that, how do you feel? Do you go, holy crap, I have got to find the gumption to try this? Or do you just go, that's not my level, and you nicely back out?
Well, yeah, on that water jump, I'm like, dude, I like these pearly whites too much. I ain't losing these things, so I was not going to. But, they were jumping the matrix all day, and I had never done it once all day. It's just totally psyched out in my head. I knew I can do it. Couldn't bring myself to do it. And, I was running, like, I swear, more than a second a lap slow every lap than those top 7 guys. And you know, I came back and looked at it after the event, and the 7 of us who were jumping the matrix were the guys who got top 7 in the main event. So it was almost like cheating, and you had to do it. And you know, I didn't do it all day till my final hot lap right for the main event. And without that, there's no way I ever would have been able to get on the podium in Ontario.
Yeah, and I remember when we talked with Robert last week, we had him on after his fantastic event there. He said that he could tell that they were kind of like scooping dirt away from the front of the matrix log because they knew you guys were jumping and they didn't want you to, but it seemed like you guys were the log just wasn't, I guess, tall enough to stop you guys. You guys could just hit it hard enough to just jump the whole thing.
Yeah, the matrix really wasn't that long. It was only 5 logs, and I think that's probably one of the shortest ones I've ever seen. And it was a big straightaway coming into it, so you can run at it. And you know, I kind of was really pissed off that they were jumping it, so I went and told them, like, dude, dig dirt out of there. It's stupid. Why? We might as well just have one log and then have a flat land. You hit it as hard as you want because that's basically what you're doing. So
right.
I was kind of the one who caused them to dig the dirt out, but it didn't matter anyways because we can still jump it.
Hey man, it's one of those things. Like you said, or as I guess they kind of thought, it's the way we built the course. It's unfortunate that we didn't realize it could happen. You got to kind of let it go unless you have a big way to change it up. And I'm just glad to see that you were able to at least get to that point where you were able to be in the top 7, and obviously still have a very good race. We had Alan on the show recently, and we talked to him just to learn more about Stillwell in general, kind of how he got started and his take on suspension and a lot of the other fun products that he's got. But for you, it has seemed to be a really, really good thing working with Alan Stillwell and his team, the Beta guys and all that. You have just grown tremendously throughout the past couple of years. So what has that relationship been like? And where do you think that he is has he been a big mentor or a big part of the consistency and the speed that you've gained?
Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of played in favor towards me. You know, like, I think in 2011 I signed with Beta, and I was virtually like a nobody in the off-road world. People just know who I was from my trials background, and you know, Beta kind of made a big, like, you know, it was kind of a risk picking me up on the team, hoping I'd do well. And you know, the first year it was kind of like a big learning year for all of us. You know, Beta didn't really have a true off-road team in the States before, and I was my first season riding the whole Endurocross series, and I contacted Alan about midway through the year asking for some assistance with suspension because I didn't know what was going on. You know, I didn't really ride a dirt bike much before in my life, and you know, Alan kind of gave me some pointers from there before we were even working together. And the next year I kind of helped him get into the Beta deal, and they were discussing, and it worked out that last year Alan worked with us a whole bunch, and we got some good stuff working for the 4-stroke. And this year we went to the 2-stroke, and we had an issue in the very beginning of the year. They wanted us the factory team wanted us to run those red Marzocchi forks, but we wanted to stick with last year's stuff, but we didn't have any time to test the new stuff. So Alan set me up a couple sets, and you know, we had some issues. We learned a bunch through the first part of the year, and actually right before Denver, after Ontario, we knew we had to make another change. So Alan, we got right on the spot this time with the front suspension. The shock has been working great for me since last year, and you know, I think winning in Denver was a huge contribution to what Alan and I like working through all this year on that new fork. We finally got a good setup that I was really happy with for Denver.
Yeah, and so the fork then that you're running now, is that still like a 2012 fork, or is that you know, another fork that you guys have kind of picked up to use over the Marzocchi fork?
I think I've used it a little bit last year, but it's on the race versions that Beta sells, and I think it was on some of the factory Huskies a couple like last year or something. But you know, it's a fork that really isn't that prominent here in the States because Marzocchi's not a huge dealer. Like, their importership's not that strong here. So
right.
In Europe they're a lot more popular, and they come on all the race models of the Beta. So you know, we're doing the best to represent Beta, like, just as what they're running on the bike. I want to be running. They want me running what they sell to the public. So we got a great setup now for that for the rest of the year.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Marzocchi for a long time was huge in the mountain bike industry.
Yeah.
And then we saw them kind of they just, it's not that they did a bad job, they just didn't keep up with the Joneses. Everybody else was really pushing a lot of the limits. And it's interesting. I always thought that they were going to start bringing over more and more of their dirt bike forks into the States and try to push them more. But for some reason that never really happened. And I think now they're just trying to get their mountain bike division kind of back up to on par with everybody else's. And you guys run a Fox rear shock, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a coincidence. Huge rebels against each other in the mountain bike world.
Yeah, and is that a shock that comes stock on that bike, or is that a shock that you run aftermarket style?
That's an aftermarket shock that I'm running on the bike. And if you actually go to like Beta, they have like a build your own beta site type thing on their website where you can go and pick and choose whatever you want, and that's one of the options that's available to you. And we got hooked up with that deal because I live right by their headquarters, and so I know a bunch of people that work there, and one of the guys really wanted to help me out, and he pieced together like a couple shocks from like a Cowie and a Honda, and it fit right on the Beta, and got the hookup that way.
That is fantastic. So not only do you guys get to do all this fun testing on these race Marzocchi fork, but then you as well get to have the badass Fox stuff right there. And so this is a Fox shock that nobody else is going to be able to have. I mean, you've got almost a one-off at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy them, and they're available, but it's not that many people probably have them for the Beta.
Yeah, and does Alan do all of your dampening and setup and stuff on this Fox, or do you actually go and work with their staff?
I work with their staff just because they're right by my house. So I started with them, and we've done a couple different changes, and I go back and tell them what we want. And it's really cool there because they have all the money from the mountain bike side where they can put the shocks on a dyno.
Yeah.
I can tell them what I'm feeling, and then we can visually see it on the computer screen, and then they just can make a little adjustments from there. So that's really convenient from there. And then when we get to the races, Alan, he does my front forks, and then we're at the races. We watch and give each other feedback on what's going on, what it looks like in practice. And we make little minute changes from there with the rebound and the compression and whatnot.
Yeah. Being able to work with the guys at Fox like that, I'm really interested. I've been talking with some of the suspension guys, and Alan and the guy from Kreft Suspension. Have you done any data acquisition type with the guys from Fox on your Beta, or has it really just been kind of, trying to recreate on the dyno opposed to doing an actual recreation of a ride?
I don't know. We go out and I go and test the shock, and I tell them what I'm feeling.
Okay.
But
they haven't put on a bunch of data acquisition software and hardware on your bike to actually.
Oh no. We haven't done anything to that extreme.
Yeah, that's what I think is the coolest. Is they'll do that on the World Cup downhill guys. So that way they can go back to the computers and put them on the dyno, and they can rerun the exact run on the shock and on the fork, so they can see what it did, and they can do that on all different settings to do and see how it would be really cool to see that kind of data from an enduro cross and to see what minute changes would do, because you guys go through so many different types of terrain and different obstacles that I'm sure that there's no one awesome setting, there's just one good overall setting, right?
Yeah, there's a huge compensation going on. You want the bike to kind of sit low and be soft and get to the rocks nice, so it soaks up and really tracks the rear tire to the ground, and then you're slamming into a square edge when you want high compression. So it's a huge toss up, and you need to compensate. I don't know if there is a perfect setup, but there's a setup that gets you in the mix of both realms and gets me around the track.
Right. Well, so what's next? I know you've got a couple more around. Is it just Vegas that's coming up, or do you guys have 2 more enduro crosses?
Let's see. So this weekend we have off, and then
you got 3 more.
We're going to Everett. Yeah, we're going to Everett, Washington, weekend off. Boise, Idaho, weekend off, and then Vegas. But in between Boise and Vegas, I'm heading to Liverpool, England for the first round of the Super Enduro Championship.
Really?
So I got a busy. Yep.
How did
Just
that come
got my flight
across?
today. They expanded the series this year, and they're trying to get more races going for that. And actually, some of the races, the guys who build our tracks here, the Schaefer Trucks guys, they're actually going to be building some of the tracks over there in Europe. But I think Beta really wanted to have someone there, and they don't really have any true guys to really fit the need for the Super Enduros over there in Europe. They have a lot of really strong World Enduro guys, but going for the Super Enduros. So I think Max Gerson and I are going to kind of split it up, and I'm going to do 3 of them, and he might do 4 for next season's Super Enduro Championship.
Right. Their 2014 championship, which starts in 2013.
Yeah, interesting. I know.
It's the same way with Toro. We start in November, but it's like a 2014 but for us it's a winter series, so it kind of makes sense that it's screwed up.
Oh yeah, it does.
And we're in Texas, so we're just do everything weird. But
you do everything on your own over there.
Yeah, we could still be our own country.
We know that. We know how you guys work. Little...
Hey, you're close. You're in Cali. Let's not even talk about you guys and your West Coasters.
Oh man,
I know. Well, what do you? Shit.
I'm a hipster.
Well, at least you didn't call me one. I'm getting tired of that shit. Because I got mustache wax and my shit sticks up, all of a sudden I'm a fucking hipster. Yeah. That's like the most cursing I've done in this show tonight, and that you could tell that pisses me off. It's no fun for anybody. Well,
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but
you thought, yeah. You were my friend earlier, up until now. So this going to Liverpool and doing the first round of the Super Enduro Series, have you done any kind of looking at the tracks or trying to figure out how is it different? Does it look faster? In my knowledge, it looks more narrow and it doesn't look as fast. But you're the professional.
I don't know. They're all mixed up. I haven't seen any track map or anything for Liverpool, but they're back and forth. Some of the races have been like literally wide open, like third gear straightaways and huge triples, and the other ones don't have anything like that. So I'm just gonna bring my suspension and handlebars and wing it.
Yeah, well, make sure that you double check your suspension, because apparently a lot of the ISDE guys were having a lot of issues getting their stuff from LAX. I think was giving them a lot of trouble. So if for some that's not
sounds about right.
That's not. Is that your airport of choice?
Nah, San Francisco, but it's probably just as bad. It's probably a little better actually.
Nice. So we're zoning in really closely for anybody out there who wants to stalk Cody Webb. Start in San Francisco. From there, I don't really know where it's at, but you could start there. If anybody's
somewhere in that area.
Yeah, if anybody's looking to start a bromance, you could start in San Francisco with Mr. Cody Webb. I've already got a couple. I've started. I don't need any more. I'm not gonna lie. Your teeth are awesome. I'm very jealous, but just following another guy and stalking somebody else on the internet my wife would kill me. She would not be okay with that amount of time spent on another man. So. Ken and Dixie Brooks wanted to know, one, they were extremely, I would read you their entire email, but it's a very long, very dedicated email. They're extremely happy and they're very proud of how you're doing, to say the least. And one of their questions that they had in their email that they sent in is, are you going to ever start teaching any of your secrets to some of us mortals? If so, how do they sign up?
I don't know. I'm actually wondering that because it's really hard to make money being an off-road racer unless you're Ryan Villapoto. So I might need to start doing some schools and stuff. And I don't know how well I can teach my weird stuff I do. I don't know. Like I don't even like what I do. It's so stupid, but I can do it. It's pretty awesome.
You're like, you're like, what I do is dumb. What do you mean? Why do you want to learn this? But you do it.
You really don't.
Well.
You really don't want to know how to do what I do, because then you're just going to go like out trail riding, and then no one wants to ride with you because you're like riding over trees. But I have thought about that. I don't think I'm at a point right now where I'm going to start doing schools just because my schedule's so packed and I'm really focused on my racing right now. But I think maybe in the winter season or after next year, depending on how things go with my contract and what I still end up doing racing, and who knows, I'll probably start doing schools here and there just to make some side money. And I feel like I have a lot really different techniques compared to a lot of other racers, and I have, my own strange style that, it's definitely great to for people to learn from all kinds of different perspectives.
I think something that would be really neat is there are none of the demos do this, and I think that they should do this. Guys like have Shane Watts. He has his 2-day programs, and I've been to one of his programs, absolutely loved it. So somebody like myself, I would love to pay to travel out to somewhere, say like in Arizona, or even if it was somewhere outside of San Francisco and Northern California, to wherever you're having said school, to maybe have like a 2-day really intense program where, say, you get 4 or 5 bikes from Beta, on top of your bike. And so we've got the Beta 2-strokes and 4-strokes where I could ride one of these bikes one day, and that not only am I getting to learn how to ride like Cody Webb, but I'm getting to ride the bike that Cody Webb rides. And then as well, maybe you could even have a trials class the next day, so then you've got those same 4 or 5 bikes that would be different trials bikes for people to ride, and you could have all the different disciplines of bikes. They've got their 4-strokes and their 2-strokes. Yeah. Everybody could have different bikes to ride. So then you're creating kind of that brand advocacy for people to be able to learn these betas and really get a chance to demo them. But at the same time, they're getting a chance to learn, your skill set. They will never be as fast as you. That is unfortunately at birth you were given that in your testicles. Just that guttural man awesomeness, and I was not. So that's just the difference there. But I would love that. Though. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, suck on that one, buddy. I could offer people mustache rides. What do you got?
None of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Want a pearly white ride?
I lose.
That's okay. But see, something like that would be a wicked awesome time. Like Baja Rally schools do that.
I have to agree to that. That'd be a huge promotional thing for Beta to do and for myself, because I'm sure people would love to go out and do schools and ride a bike and not trash their own bike when I'm teaching them to go up gnarly rocks and logs. So
yep, you got that right.
It's a win-win for me and a win for Beta because it helps grow the brand. So.
And then they have to bring more parts in the States to fix all the bikes that the people are trashing.
Yeah. So that actually, that'd be a great thing to mention to them and see if they'd be up for it, and maybe have a central thing, maybe in Colorado with one of their dealers there or something. So
Colorado, I love Colorado. You would have me in a heartbeat. I would be very willing to drive 15 hours to go to that for a weekend. That would be fantastic. I would even be willing to pay. I would definitely ask for that as a Christmas gift, though, for my parents. But is there any way that we could up the annual Christmas gift to whatever this costs?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Well, cool. We're going to go ahead and move on because, one, I know you have a life to live, and we don't like to take up too much of everybody's time. But for all the ones out there, people out there that want to maybe follow you, that aren't following you on those different social networks and things like that, what are the good ways for people to get in touch with you and to follow your life, Mr. Webb?
Well, if you just want to see awesome pictures of what I do every week, just follow me on Instagram at Cody Webb 2.
At Cody Webb 2 on the Instagram?
At Cody Webb 2. That's all I got. Facebook is blown out. No one wants that anymore, so we're going to Instagram.
Nice. So we're going to just pictures, people. No updates. Updates are overrated. We just want pictures of, oh, look what I ate today. Oh, my gosh. Check out the underwear I have on. Yay, riding my bike. Yay. Things of that sort. Is that what we get?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what it is. On my bike today. Oh, on my bike again today. Oh, look, here's a 2-stroke Tuesday.
Which is a badass 2-stroke Tuesday of you, by the way. That number 2 kicking ass at the Denver Endurocross. So congratulations. You have been working really, really hard for it. We've talked with you multiple times about that consistency, building the program, and really, the fact that is you know what you've been doing the whole time, and you knew that it would pay off. It's just one of those things of when, not if. And it has.
Yeah.
And now you know what it feels like, you know what it takes, and I think we're going to see more of them. I just wish it was a little bit earlier.
I sure hope so. And the weirdest thing is, during the race, I felt like I was all the time I'm always struggling and battling like crazy, and I'm finishing second or fifth or fourth, and I still feel like I'm up there, but I try so hard, and this time it was it was almost handed to me. I just paced off Colton Haker and made a smart move and got in the lead and just was smart to the end of the race. And afterwards, I'm like, why was that so easy compared to every other freaking time?
Awesome. Well, that's great because now you know it's way easier than you ever thought it was, and you'll be able to know and keep that level-headedness going in and be able to recreate it because you got 3 more rounds. You do that 3 more times, could be a chance. Get that.
Sure
time.
hope so.
I love it, dude. Well, have fun out there. Good luck with class. Good luck at school. Good luck riding, and good luck on getting me 10% for the new beta training program.
Thanks, guys.
Later, dude.
See ya.
All right, so as we go ahead and swap over again, it's always great to have Cody Webb on the show. He's a very, very awesome individual, fantastic rider, as we know, and he answers questions in a very fun way. I always like talking with him. So we're gonna pull up Scotty Breauxman from the Baja Rally. As we do that really quick, I of course want to talk about one of our other fantastic sponsors of Seat Time, and it seems like we have some fantastic feedback. Definitely Fast Company. So for those of you guys that don't know, you can go check them out at Fastco. It's 2 S's in there.com. And what's great about these guys, they've been in the industry for a really long time, but it seems like they've been flying under the radar. They have fantastic flex bars that I was very ignorant to, unfortunately, at the beginning. Am not ignorant anymore. I have been riding them. They're fantastic. Coming off of a shoulder surgery, 6 months of no riding. I've been out there. I can't tell you my shoulder doesn't hurt because my shoulder is still strengthening itself, but I know for a fact that those bars helped so much with the fact that my shoulder is nowhere near as sore as it would have been with any other time. So I definitely think that people out there should check out the flex bars and the Baja racing that's going on in the background apparently. And of course they have their fun spoke torque tension tool. That's great, and I can't wait for mine to get in. I'm going to order one next week when I get my next paycheck, and I'm looking forward to the fact that I can true my spokes and not feel like I have no idea what's going on with trying to get those things going with the right tension. So fastco.com, check them out. We really appreciate them for their support. Yes, and now we do. We have Scotty B, Mr. Breauxman, coming into us. So what's going on, dude?
Hey, listen, Brian. I want to say congratulations to Cody on his win in Denver. That's obviously huge for him, finally.
Yes.
And look forward to seeing him hopefully at the King of the Motos again in February. I hope he comes back out. I was there with him when he won. He beat Graham Jarvis out at King of the Motos. So congrats to Cody, and thanks for sharing your time with us tonight. We got back from Baja a week ago, and it's taken about a week to decompress from the experience. But man, I can't believe it. We had a really good, very fun adventure. 38 riders started the race, and we have some new rally converts in the mix. And so can't hardly wait to tell you the details. It's pretty awesome, I got to tell you.
Yeah, it looks like it.
At the Baja Rally. So we put together a little footage clip, and I'm not sure if you can load it, and maybe while we talk about it.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try. So we've got your Skype call going on the computer, and as we broadcast your audio from that Skype call, we're then going to play the video footage over it. So we're pretty much just hitting the play button, and it's going, and I don't know if you can't really talk us through it, and if you can, cool. If not, just talk over it and make it sound awesome and make brap noises. Nothing?
Brap.
There you go.
So for the first time ever in Baja California, we did this navigation-based adventure rally, and so it's basically similar to what you would find in a FIM world-class rally. It's a couple hundred miles, 150, 180 miles of navigation-based riding, and I'm not sure if the shots are showing, up there, but it's. We had beautiful weather. We had no injuries, in the event. What we're basically doing is sending 40 riders off out into a 180-mile trail ride that they don't have any GPS, so they could get lost. They're just using a paper map and a compass and an odometer computer, and it was funny. Some guys did get lost for a little while, but what an adventure that they all could find the finish line. They could all make it to the end before the end of the day. We have a couple of really neat stories. Andy Grider, who's a 5-time Dakar starter and former Baja champion, he spent most of the time in second place. Quinn Cody was leading and dominating the Baja Rally from the first mile all the way to the 10 miles to the finish line. Our total mileage was around 290 miles. 10 miles to the finish line, Quinn Cody breaks down and blows a motor. Very sad. We missed him at the finish line, which was a very dramatic finish across about a mile of very steep but short sand dunes. So Andy Grider won his first Baja Rally. He seemed really happy about it. Cameron Steele and Chili White, these are two guys who had never done a rally before. And for them to come in and get the podium, in a first rally, it kind of says that the Baja guys have a little bit of advantage down here, because these are two guys that had never really completed a navigation rally. But we've got two new big fans in rally with Chili and Cameron. But there's more. I mean, there's more to the story. We had Quinn's sister, Anna Cody. She came out in honor of Jimmy Stalker, who was her friend who was killed in the Nora Mexican 1000 back in May. She brought him out with her on her number plate 208, and she fought a really hard battle. 2 days, she was struggling with navigation. It's a harder race than she's done in Baja. And when she blew her motor about 20 miles to the finish line, our rescue crews located her and were able to rendezvous with her in a really remote beach. So as they were hauling her bike off of the beach with 4x, one of our rescue crews offered his bike up to her so that she could do an honorary finish, and cross the finish line for her fallen amigo, Jimmy Stalker. So we got the radio words that they were coming in, down the sand dunes. We had already closed the finish down, but we set things back up and had a really dramatic and emotional finish with Quinn's sister, Anna. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Dude, like you guys, if you come out here, I hope you come out in May. We're ready to announce our date for our next Baja Rally, but I really think you and your dad will find it just an absolute adventure of a lifetime. Not just the riding, but the camaraderie and the camping, and you see a lot of great landscape. But gosh, thank you. It's been a real adventure, and we're ready to announce our next rally for next spring.
Sweet. So do you have the date for the next rally?
Yeah.
Go for it, man. Tell me when it is so I can go ahead and schedule my vacation.
Okay, so you should be able to remember this in your memory. It's Memorial Day weekend. So it's basically the week before Memorial Day, May 21st through May 25th. So we're going to start on a Wednesday, register all of our riders in Ensenada. Thursday, we have a prologue, about 50 miles maybe. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, full-blown 300-mile days. So when we talk about 100 miles of transfer, 200 miles of stages, what we learned in the first one, you could pack 180 miles into a rally, and guys are still going to finish, the fast guys and the good navigators, going to finish about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we want to make it more challenging with more miles, and so we're looking at like a longer experience. But it's all really about this rider experience. So as we create the next rally, we're thinking about you and your dad and people just like you guys that really are looking for that next level of adventure, in a long distance cross country race.
Yeah, I think what the reason why he's kind of mentioning my dad and myself is because we have talked about this. Once we talked to Scotty originally, we were like, man, is there any way we could go to this event? And we knew that there wouldn't, but in the future. And we know that either if he can get healthy enough that we would like to do this together, like ride it together, or it would be a fantastic event for something like maybe he could be a support crew at, where he's going to go and still be able to hang out with the boys and do all the race talk and bench racing and stuff, but he may not be healthy enough to do the full day, but supporting me as his son and things like that would still make a great time for him. So do you think that something like that would still be good for other kind of father-son teams out there, or even other maybe brother-sister teams out there that would want to get involved?
For sure. The father-son aspect of Baja California is you can't do any better. So for instance, the experience that you can have with your pop in Baja California, traveling on the Baja Rally, lifetime memory. And I would recommend make it happen. I took my dad to a Baja race in 2007. You know, we don't have a lot of time on the planet. And like my father took me out to desert races and to off-roading when I was a little boy. And I was able to take him out. You know, he's 70 years old and we're in Mexico together. You know, I'm glad I made that decision. And I think when you take your dad to Mexico, you have tacos, maybe bring some gluten-free beer down, you know, might have a hard time finding it down there, but I think you'll have the most awesome time with family in Baja California.
I hear that Mexico has a lot of tequila, so I think I could just drink a lot of tequila.
Well, California and Texas is a big, you know, exporter, you know, of Mexican, or big importer of Mexican tequila. So, yeah, there's a lot of tequila down there. I think you'll enjoy yourself. And, you know, if you can't find gluten-free beer, drink some tequila.
I dig
Right
it.
on the mark with doing it, making it a family adventure. I hope your dad is healthy enough to ride the event, but just servicing and just, I'll tell you, man, we charged everybody the entry fee. Nobody got a free ride in the Baja Rally. Everybody paid, and everybody got their money's worth, and then some. They would all tell you it was a good experience. I think that the chase crew guys, you know, we had a hard time getting them food on Saturday morning, but other than that, they had access to food and camping, and I think that the chase crew guys, it's a treat for them to go on this ride. They don't see all of the course, and they don't pit you, except for in the evening, but they're going to see Baja, and they're going to get a taste of the culture. We're hearing a lot of good feedback from all of the participants and their support team and our team as well. They just had a terrific time. So we're just tickled. You know, we have a formula and a recipe, and we're ready to do a 4-day rally.
Cool.
For our next 4 days.
So, okay, no, we did talk about this a little bit when we chatted before you guys did the Baja Rally, but now that it's happened, there's going to be a little bit more kind of momentum, I think, behind it coming into the May next year event. So say a rider like, well, let's just use my bike as an example like we did last time. So I've got the KTM 300 XC. Even if I were to use that in Baja and I were to go ahead and get one of the rally kits, what do you say it's going to cost me? Now, let's not even talk about getting there. We all know that costs money driving down. But taking my bike, renting the rally kit, and kind of, you know, and registering from the race, what does that kind of that cost per head look like?
Well, let's talk about the bike first. Let's
Okay.
getting your bike retrofitted for the basic requisite for a rally, $800 all in. So
Okay.
that's gonna be, and then in addition to that, if you don't have a GPS, you have to have a GPS and a mount, like a holder, like a bar mount. So let's just call that an extra $250. So like you can buy the unit on eBay, the preferred unit, a Garmin handheld, you know, on eBay for $200. Let's call it all in with the case or with the mounting unit, the RAM mount. It's $30. So let's just call it $250 with the GPS, $700 plus, or $1,000, and you're handled. Oh wait, but you need a spot tracker, so that's another $150
Okay.
for a spot tracker. So call it $1,100, $1,200 is your equipment and your entry. It's a 4-day rally.
4 days, right?
Camping on 5 nights with food, breakfast, and dinner for all the riders included, and your race fuel. It's $1,850. So it's not, you know, it's not cheap. You know, it's $400 or $500 a day, but I think it's worth it.
Right, no, and that's the thing is I think a lot of people think about it like, oh my gosh, it's that much, but at the same time, it's all inclusive. You know, it's in the sense that, I mean, maybe you're not getting 5-star resorts, but you're a dirt bike rider. Get over it. You know what I mean? Like you could camp for a little while, you can handle it.
Yeah.
What we're watching right now, and honestly, I don't know which rider's in front, but only reason I say he's in front is because he looks like he is riding completely by himself, just following his navigation, going whichever kind of direction he chooses to go in the terrain, making his own marks, following along on a beach. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that people dream of.
Are you watching the beach part? That's Quinn Cody.
Okay, yeah, it is just
Sand dunes.
epic, man. Epic.
So what we're seeing there is Quinn is basically doing business at San Antonio del Mar. That's in Collinet, and there's a rich 200-year history of the English guy that found the point. Those sand dunes are awesome, and they're going off track. They're being told to go at 180 degrees or 179 degrees, basically due south. And all they got to do is weave through the sand dunes until they get to Long Beach, and then they get to open it up a little bit. But that's dangerous. If they're just speeding across the dunes, you got to slow it down, and there's some hazards out there. But yeah, so that's cross country rally, totally different than normal off-road racing.
Right. No, it's a sport that I have only seen kind of footage of from like things like the Baja 1000, and that relate to this, but that's not the exact same. And so it's totally awesome to see this, and this aerial footage. Whoever you guys hired is just fantastic. It's such a cool thing to be able to watch from this aerial view of these guys just tearing ass through the desert.
Yeah, the photographer and the helicopter pilot. By the way, Climb Technical Riding Gear. They subsidize the aerial footage, and they were our sponsors. So they basically, their contribution helped pay for the helicopter and the pilot, and the photographer. They're very intuitive. They got all the shots we were looking for. We have something to share with the world. This is the first time this footage is being viewed, and we're looking to release a YouTube teaser, that's fully edited for Monday or Tuesday next week, so we can, put the word out a little bit. The aerial imagery shares the magic of Baja, shares the landscape. I mean, it's really awesome and just terrific weather, you can tell.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what does it look like? It's BajaRallyMoto.com is the website, correct?
Correct. BajaRallyMoto.com.
So now, people who are interested, tell us when it looks like they need to be signing up for something like this, or when, how many riders, and when does entry close and all that stuff for the May event.
Okay, we're going to open up entries December 1st, and we're going to have open entry for about 2 weeks during December, and to see how that goes. And we're going to take up to 40 riders in 2013. We'll open it up to as many as 80 riders, but the guaranteed reserve is for 40 riders, and that has to happen before the first week or before the first 2 weeks of December. Our announcement is coming out in about a day or two, on the website. But for the listeners that are out there, just kind of check it with pencil on your calendar. It's May 21st through May 25th. It's a 5-day deal, 4 days of racing. We're going to do a prologue. Prologue is it's like a mini race. They call it a super special, where we will do a short 50-mile race, a stage that's a navigation stage. The results of that stage will determine the starting order for the main event.
Okay. That's smart. So, yeah, you see that happen in a lot of hard enduros nowadays, just because of the fact that they do a lot of kind of let some of the hobby classes in, to be able to, for the fun guys to get out there, and some of those guys might get entered in a class they're not suitable for, or vice versa. They might enter a class they're oversuited for. So that's a good way to kind of say, okay, you guys are the fast ones, you guys are a little bit slower, you guys just need to be in the back and have fun. So what's a finish rate on something like this? Besides mechanicals, what's kind of a finish rate, or getting lost and just not making it by the end of the day and needing help to get out?
Okay, after the first day, we had 2 guys that really DNF'd or just couldn't finish. 3, so we had 38 starters. 3 guys left the course and came in, a little bit goofy. Nobody got hopelessly lost where we had to find them. And then on the second day, we had 2 mechanical failures where we found them. I think you're going to see in the next one 90% success rate. Okay. That means like no injuries, no mechanical, and no getting lost. And they'll have a few strays. There were a number of guys who did get lost. And, there was a question about a navigation, about the map should have said something like this or should have said something like that. But we tested it. It was tested and verified weeks before. And we had 5 or 6 finishers across the finish line when these 8 or 9 guys were lost on the course. And I sort of feel bad for them, but I sort of don't, because, a lot of guys made it through. Second day, guys got lost. 8 guys got lost on a sand dune. And that was just a navigation mistake. Guys following the wrong guy. But for the most part, the map was accurate enough to get everybody home. Finish rate, 90%, I think, in the next one. The next one's going to be up to, it could be 1,000 miles when it's all said and done.
Woo! Woo, my God. Okay, so is it all paid upfront entry fee? Is it a deposit that you can pay a little bit just to hold your spot? How is that going to work?
December 1st. So basically, deposits will guarantee a spot. That's how we did it last time. Deposits will guarantee your spot for up to 40 riders. It's good to get in early. There's some advantages to paying full pop and getting in early. The full pop guys don't pay the PayPal service charge. You get some priority when you have full pop. But holding it with a deposit, it's a good idea to start saving up. Throw some papers, mow some lawns, wash some windows, as mom always said, and save up and just get your deposits ready. It's $1,000, $1,200 to get your bike ready and get retrofitted. A month or so practicing with Rally Navigator software and making road books and testing them. And you come out, you have a great experience. I mean, we had rookies finish on the podium. I mean, out of 38 guys, it was terrific.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. Well, I'm super excited. That's going to be a really fun thing. I'm going to definitely call my father right when we get done with this and be like, hey, we should at least sit down at some point and seriously discuss this because I want to do it, and I know that it'd be something that we should do together. So that's the discussion we're going to have. Well, cool, man. So overall, in your eyes, you had a successful first run at this?
Terrific. Absolutely. We couldn't be more lucky. We call it the rally luck. The rally of luck is that we just were lucky one time after another, so that nobody got injured, nobody got hopelessly lost, that we didn't have any of our support crew having any incidents. Tremendously lucky. We have the support of the Mexican government, the tourism board, fire and rescue, civil protection, a number of agencies, all of our partners in Mexico. It was a terrific success and made part by our support crew. Eric Kudla and Scott Whitney, Joe DeRosiers, Joe Holler, they call him. We really got the best guys. We got the best guys to do a great event. And without Eric and Scott, we got nothing. And without Joe Holler, we got nothing. And
right.
So all of our support guys, they're really what the essence of this thing. I mean, it's just a funky dream or like some kind of like far-fetched, creation that I had. But the support team, they made it all come true. Eric Kudla is a monster. The guy's don't let that little Dukes of Hazzard, like crazy cooter look, fool you. He's an animal. And I mean, one of the smartest guys you ever meet.
Sweet. Well, I'm super excited. I'm glad not only one that we've been able to talk to you about this situation, but that you've been so amped up to share it with us here on Seat Time. I think it's a great way to get information out to everybody out there who's interested. So I really appreciate you contacting us and keep getting to us about it. So BajaRallyMoto.com is where people can find out about that if they go to the website. You guys are on Facebook or any other kind of social stuff?
Yeah, Baja Rally. Baja
Okay.
Rally. It's hit 1,000 fans, so we're right on your tail.
Hey.
Right on your tail, man. We're gonna get.
So we're nowhere near as important as people think we are. We're just a bunch of yahoos with beer, and we talk about bench racing. So we have a lot of fun doing it, and we're just very appreciative of the fact that other people enjoy what we do, and that hopefully they get a little bit of a joy out of it. So it's those things that make us happy, and so we just really appreciate you being on the show and sharing all the information with us. And hopefully we could share some brews in person over this in the near future, in the next 7-8 months future.
Yep, I hope so. Nothing better than sharing Baja with your dad. I mean, the father-son bonding. Someday, Brian, you'll be really glad that you took the time with your dad. Man, Baja, the people, they're so friendly, and it's like everybody's cool, and there's no vibes, there's no hassle. Nobody's shaking you down. Everybody's just treating you with generosity and kindness, and it's everyone who comes, they get their eyes open to this, and I think you and your dad have the best time.
Wicked. Well, I look forward to it, man. Again, like I said, really appreciate your time. I know we'll be talking again in the near future. Have fun out there, and I guess till next time, right?
Thanks so much, Brian. I want to say thanks to Justin Park. Happy birthday, bro. Thank you for supporting the rally. To Scott Whitney and Eric Kudla and Brian Pierce. Woody B.
Yeah, you know it, buddy. Thanks, dude. You have fun out there. We'll talk soon.
Shaka.
All right, man. Peace. All right. So for those of you guys who've stayed with us, we really appreciate it. It has been a little bit of a longer show, but we just had so much stuff to talk about. We had so many great guests to have on. We really, really wanted to just do all that tonight. So for what have you paid attention to? You paid attention to Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiasts. We come here, we talk about all the fun things that go on in the world of off-road on the online show for all you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Seattime.co is the website. It's where you can find all of this information, all our past shows, and a lot of other little videos that we're involved in, things like that. Of course, we're on Facebook, so facebook.com/seattime. Twitter, so twitter.com/seattime_co. We're on Instagram as Seattime, and we're on YouTube as well. You can search for us there. Can't thank our sponsors enough. Guys like Fly Racing, Ride PG, and Fast Company. All those guys, great supporters of Seattime. We really hope that you support them as well. If nothing else, remember to enjoy a pint full of awesome, and we'll be here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. live with some more great guests. All right, dudes. Peace. Have fun out there.